I think that, first of all, you probably shouldn't use one of the majors if you want really predictable performance. I think you stand a better chance of getting what you need out of a medium-sized provider, the Together AIs of the world, than you do dealing with OpenAI or Google. So you should probably, then also you will face a scaling dilemma if you choose one of those medium-sized providers. So you have this little fork in the road. If you believe you can build a compelling application that will be profitable for a low to medium volume of inference, then you should go to a small to medium provider that has a good reputation, and you should build on them because you probably are going to get a more consistent experience and model target to build off of. But the next thing is that you need to be treating agents as entirely experimental systems that you need to red team and test in a variety of contexts. And you need to build the infrastructure to support that red teaming and testing. That means logs and the kind of basic controls that we talked about. For sure. On top of that, you need to build scaffolding. There's the basic rules engine type stuff. You prevent the database from being deleted. There's the search scaffolding, local and external. And there are things like tool calls, which can verify math. One of my favorite
scaffolding.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite problems with LLMs is they frequently do math wrong and confidently assert that they've done it correctly. And so you want to have tool calls supporting your mathematical endeavors, because if you're giving a customer the wrong discount or looking at the wrong P&L line, it can be detrimental. Another thing is, to the best of your ability, have your own evals. So make sure that you have a set of questions that you've never shared with any provider that you can run to sanity check your provider's behavior. Those can be brain teasers, they can be math puzzles. Ambient itself actually produced one of these things. We call it Ambient Grade School Math. You can find it on GitHub, that generates dynamic math puzzles that are guaranteed to not be in training sets. And if you execute this on a variety of popular models, you will see wild variations in performance from model release to model release. And you should pay attention to those things. And your test suite should represent the things that you are worried about. If it's customer relationships, you should be testing the tone of your model and the truthfulness of that model and accuracy when it's answering customer questions and so on. And then the final thing is, if you have a direct relationship with a provider, particularly if you've signed an enterprise contract with them, I think it's okay to demand transparency as part of that.
For sure.
You want to understand, what is the inference engine that you guys are running? Can I guarantee that you will be running the same version for some period of time? Because that's a problem we often see. There'll be a bug in an inference engine, like what Anthropic claims to have experienced with Claude Code for a month, and it will affect every model output. So can I get a guarantee that we're running the same inference engine for this month? And then if the provider themselves is offering safety guardrails, can we get a guarantee that the same ones are going to be running for some period of time? And can we have an understanding of what those safety guardrails are? The scenario you don't want to end up in, which unfortunately is very, very easy to end up in, is that your provider changes their safety guardrails on you, and your application, which is high volume, is suddenly banned, along with, say, your Google account. This is a business-ending economic catastrophe, which, if you're dealing with a big provider, is entirely possible. And history is littered with X and Twitter appeals of terrified business owners asking Google to retrieve their account because some automated system shut it down. So you need to have that threat awareness and threat posture in your life in order to secure yourself. The final thing I would say is assume at some point that your provider will go down. Like the availability and reliability of these models, even with big providers like OpenAI, has kind of been terrible. Whether it's the models being sycophantic one week or whether it's Anthropic having a 6-hour outage. Like if you're building your entire business on one model, it's a bad idea. This is one of the reasons that Ambient exists, because we think that we can get better availability and reliability guarantees out of a self-healing decentralized system. But failing that, and by the way, you're welcome to use Ambient's testnet if you would like. It exists. It's app.ambient.xyz. You can try us out. We have some documentation there. But failing, using Ambient, like please have a backup provider. So yeah, I would say that these are all really important elements to being safe in the agentic world.
I think you've given an entire playbook, so thank you, Travis. But I'm sure no one's going to catch up to verifiable inference just yet, so you're good to go, even if this goes out live. And I think to sum up the entire journey we've been through right now, the simple stack is prove the run. And I think that's the cleanest takeaway that we can get. If you can prove the run and you can validate all of the important outputs, I think you're kind of good to go. And one last thing, Travis, on a closing note is, if you had one sentence that you wish people stop repeating about verified inference as a confusion, what would it be?
Well, it's difficult to come up with a negative, but I would give you a positive. I would just say,
go ahead.
Verified inference is the bedrock upon which great businesses are built.
Amazing. So guys, repeat this entire sentence and the solution will inevitably be Ambient. Amazing. It was great talking to you, Travis, and we will soon shoot one such episode again so that we can add value to everyone who is a little lost and does not know what their model is doing.
Well, thank you so much, Perry. It's been a delightful conversation. I appreciate it.
Amazing.